Hello there, welcome back to another episode of Anything with Alvin. Today we'll be making the giant 60 egg omelet found in a lot of Korean street markets. This is a version of keramari, or a simple egg rolled omelet you can serve as a side dish, but I think the street vendors make a large size just to make sure that it can be a spectacle as well as serve a lot of people. Anyways, it sounds like a lot of fun, so here we go.
I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this episode and supporting the BCU from the very beginning. I'm excited to announce my new website, babi.sh, or as I like to call it, babi.sh, the ultimate destination for all things BCU. There's all the recipes from my videos, exclusive new recipes. You can search by genre or ingredient. You can even toggle between US and metric and scale the serving size. We heard your feedback about everything you wanted from the site, so that's what we did. You can get 10% off your first Squarespace order by visiting squarespace.com/babish.
Now, the part that's most exciting to me about this kind of omelet is that there's a lot of mix-ins. A whole bunch of things that should add some really nice flavor and texture, like a carrot, which we're going to first go ahead and peel the skin off of, set that to the side, and chop up some ham, about 8 ounces, small diced. Once the ham is divided up nice and good, we're going to take those peeled carrots from earlier and chop them up into small bits as well. I'm not looking for a super even cut here, I just kind of want to get them roughly in the same shape since they're going to go on the same omelet. Now it looks like in the video that they also seem to use imitation crab, which could add a nice seafoody flavor to this omelet. So we have 8 ounces of imitation crab that we're also going to chop up into small little bits. Another ingredient that should be pretty flavorful to go in this omelet is red onion, one large one to be exact. You don't see me, but I'm tearing up off screen. And hey, look at our little mise en place in a little bowl here. Kind of looks like a 7-layer dip, except it's not that many layers, and if you ate this, you would probably not feel too good right now. Last but not least, it seems like scallion is a very major ingredient in this omelet. So we're going to take 2 entire bunches of scallions and slice them up into little bits. Now that our toppings are ready, let's move on to the eggs. In one of the biggest bowls we have in the studio, we're going to go ahead and crack in all 60 eggs that we have acquired from the store. When cracking a lot of eggs, as we've done many times on the show, we'd like to play a little game here in the studio. We take 1 egg in the left hand, 1 egg in the right hand, and we crack them together instead of on the table. The winner gets to stay. The loser gets emptied into the bowl. I try to play this game as long as I can to see what the largest winning streak is. Therefore, we'll determine the apex egg out of all 60. So far, the record has not gone above an 8 win streak record over the other eggs. It seems like after 8, the integrity of the shell has taken too much of the beating and the loser must be replaced by a new king. Anyways, once we have cracked all 60 eggs into the bowl, we're going to go ahead and season them. 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of MSG. To add really nice flavor into this omelet. Instead of whisking this by hand, I choose to opt for an immersion blender in these large egg applications just to make sure that there's no little mixed chunky bits that we didn't really get by using a fork or a whisk. And it's just really satisfying to see all those yolks break and come together in one smooth yellow mixture, kind of like orange juice. Then we dump in all of our mix-ins and go ahead and mix this until everything seems to be evenly divided. So in the video, these street vendors and stalls seem to have large flat tops or setups to cook a large amount of eggs. Luckily in the studio, we have a nice cast iron flat top that should be beautiful for this occasion. To get this ready, it has 2 burners underneath, preheating it at a medium to medium low heat. Then we're going to go ahead and drizzle some oil over it just to make sure that the eggs don't stick. Now because this grill is slightly tilted and has a little divot on one side to catch some extra stuff, we're going to have to manually tilt this and rotate this to try to get as much of an even coverage as possible. In order to roll this like they do in the video, I'm going to go ahead and use 2 spatulas to tightly tuck in the edge and roll this forward all the way to the other side. Once the roll has reached its finish line, we're going to pull the entire thing back, oil the rest of that space up, and repeat. Ladling down some more egg mixture on top, trying to evenly coat it, cook it, flip the burner, manage the heat, fill in any gaps, and repeat the process once more. Now it seems easy, but it's quite tricky. For one, the heat seems to always stick towards one side of the burner, which means I always have to rotate to make sure that the other side is fully cooked. 2, those toppings don't really spread as evenly as in the video, but I have to manually try to divide it so that we don't end up with huge chunks of lumps in our omelet at the end. 3, in this little divot on the side, there's a lot of egg collecting there that can eventually be rolled into the final omelet. So we'll have to eventually find out a use for that, but we make sure that that won't go to waste. After repeating this at least 5 or 6 times, we have used up our entire egg mixture and we have created a rather thick and rotund omelet, rolled with many layers and fillings inside. Now this giant omelet is going to be carefully transferred off the heat and onto a board, which we're going to rest it on and make sure that the shape is kept evenly by cooling it with some foil and some wedges on the side. After about 30 minutes or so, the hot egg is now cooled to a nice room temperature. We're going to go ahead and trim the edges for scraps and place them in the same bowl that we got the scraps from the flat top. Now that our giant omelet has been cleaned up, let's cut a nice thick slice and show you guys a little bit of the inside and the cross section. 1 inch should do. Now that is pretty cool. Now, if I'm not mistaken, usually in Korean culture, this is not always eaten warm. Oftentimes it's served as a cold side dish, which can be pretty delicious in many applications compared to Western omelets that usually are eaten hot. Now, noticing how big and thick this slice is reminded me that this actually might be perfect for milk bread to make an egg sandwich. So we have some milk bread here. After we put down some cheese on each side, we lay down our giant circular portion of eggs. Go ahead and give this a taste. Oh, that is very delicious. There's so much texture going on. A lot of flavor from the ham, the onion, the carrots, a little bit of sugar, the scallions. It all is very delicious and can seem relatively healthy. Here's some footage of us excavating that nice little cooked divot of those layered bits of egg just collecting in that little dam on the side of the flat top. Pretty satisfying. And instead of throwing that away, even though they're really overcooked on the grill, we're gonna dump all that on our work surface, use a bench scraper to kind of chop them up into little bits. And now this kind of reminds me of egg salad. So we're gonna go ahead and add a nice healthy portion of QP mayo and some black pepper, mix that together, and make a quick version of an egg salad sandwich that will also go perfectly with our milk bread. Let's heap on some generous servings of that into the middle, spread that out, even it out, put a little slice on top, and voila. Not your typical egg salad sandwich, a little bit more on the textured side, but hopefully a lot more flavorful. And yes, this was very good. Now, since we made so much food, it would only be fair to make sure that everybody has some of this deliciousness to take home. Thank you, chickens, for your hard work. You continue to make this show possible, and I look forward to working with you once more.
Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's episode. From websites to online stores to domains to analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for you to build your online presence. All of my websites over the years have been with Squarespace, and I'm excited to share the new one, babi.sh. We were able to use Squarespace's website builder and custom integrations to create a site that provides a powerful cooking experience. If you want to try Squarespace for yourself, you can start your free trial today by visiting squarespace.com/babish to get 10% off your first purchase.